Japan is one of the most amazing countries in the world. It's easy to tell someone who already knows about it why they should go there. It's the people who haven't thought about it before who need more convincing. The Blog to Japan competition is as much about introducing people to Japan for the first time as it is about giving people who are already interested even more reasons to go.
Hello, my name's Sophie and I'm a self-confessed Japanophile. I started writing my own Japan blog last year after I was so inspired about reading everything to do with the country's history, its culture, its people. This is such a unique country and writing about it is one thing, but going there and seeing it for yourself is completely different. There's so much that I'm yet to see, but I'd like to persuade you at Inside Japan Tours, Virgin and of course the viewers why you should send Sophie to Japan. I think this is the most important point to begin with. Of course I already am a blogger, more importantly a Japan blogger. I write weekly about Japan, I balance it with everything else I have to do. It's something that's very important to me, not just because people are reading, but also because I'm sharing things that I find out with different people. I've already got an audience of about 400 people. Of course they're all already fans of Japan. The challenge for me is to persuade people who have not thought about Japan about why that should be their next holiday destination. Someone who loves writing, who loves making videos, who loves blogging, of course, is the best person for the job.
I've really been doing everything I can to find out more about Japan from my own country. I got a press pass to Hyper Japan in London earlier this year. I saw and tasted a lot of new things. I saw a geisha dance, an international cosplay competition, tried unusual sweets and met some very interesting people. I've also written a few guest articles and was also on a podcast show for a while. I like sharing what I find out with other people and learning from other people as well. It's not just about finding Japan, but sharing things about Britain. It's easy to take your own country for granted, but a lot of people in Japan like hearing about British history and culture just in the same way we do. Sending me to Japan would also provide you with plenty of entertainment. I freak out and get excited very easily, and I'm not afraid to try anything new. My friends say I'm loud and a bit mad, and they're probably right, but the best narrators are those who are a bit quirky. I'm not going to say no to anything, especially if I'm in Japan.
Everybody wants to go to Tokyo and Osaka for a very good reason. But what about Hokkaido, Shirakawa-go, Kyushu, Shikoku, these less thought of places that more people really should be thinking of when they think of Japan? Of course I've taken the Inside Japan guide to give myself some own ideas to add to my already existing dream itinerary. If you open it on any page, there's so much variation in Japan, from the castles to the spas, well the onsen, not the spas. These are things that I obviously all want to explore, I want to try out. I'm not afraid to go into a rural town and embarrass myself for asking for directions. I'd also like to visit a cat cafe, and I would like to introduce you to my cats. Of course it's one thing having your own lovely pet, but sitting in a cafe surrounded by cats reading manga is something I would consider a bit of a dream.
The one thing I love the most about Japan is its history, which isn't that surprising when I studied it at university. I came across the samurai by accident, and although I've never studied them properly, I've been picking up history books about them since I graduated. I'd love to visit the historical cities such as Kofu, Sendai and Osaka. I want to explore the castles, see the armour, walk through the old streets and see the statues of famous samurai that I've read so much about.
One of my greatest goals in life is actually to write a book, and I know exactly what that topic is going to be about. Of course, it can only be about samurai if you know anything about me. The reason I want to write about the samurai is I did history at university. I came across the samurai by accident and fell in love with them. I fell in love with the wars, the armour, the bushido, the way of the samurai. Everything is completely different to anything we've had in European history. You can find out a lot about reading about samurai, but it's a different thing to go to the ancient cities such as Sendai or Kofu, Osaka, Kyoto, and seeing the city from the eyes of the people who you are writing about. So if I was able to go to Japan, I'd get all the information I need and more to write a brilliant book.
A lot of people who go to Japan have these amazing stories about the brief encounters with the locals. People are polite, help you get to your destination and want to practice their English with you. This photo shows my friend Leah, who visited the mother of Koshi Inaba, one of the greatest rock stars in Japan. I absolutely love Japanese food. I'm a regular at my local restaurant and there's no food I won't try. I also like cooking and encourage my blog readers to try it out too. I really want to try some local cuisine, real Kobe beef, fresh sushi, explore the Tsukiji fish market and try everything that has matcha in it. A lot of people in England still think that Japanese food is just sushi and noodles. I want to get a lot of footage of food being prepared over there and prove just how diverse it is. Japan has some of the most beautiful natural scenery in the world. There are so many nature reserves, beaches, mountains, valleys and zen gardens to be explored. The land is so diverse, with Matsushima Bay in the Miyagi prefecture to the beaches of Kyushu, and you can see so much of it just by passing through on a train. As well as Hakone, there's also the Nihon Sanke, Japan's 3 most scenic places, Matsushima Bay, Miyajima Island and Amano Hashidate. I'm a country girl at heart. I love nature and animals and flora, and seeing photos of Japan is making me dying to explore it.
I've actually been studying Japanese for the last year. I took a beginner's class at the university, and since then I've been teaching myself katakana. So I'd like to put that into practice, obviously reading the signs, talking to people and asking for directions. A couple of phrases that I think I need will be sumimasen, excuse me, doka desu ka, where is it, and wakarimasen, which is I don't understand.
I've actually been practicing my Japanese by sending letters to a couple of people in Japan in the hopes that I can meet them when I go there. We've shared stories about our home lives, what we want to do when we travel and exchange gifts. They're scattered around Tokyo, Osaka and Kanagawa. I'd love to meet them in person and speak to them and visit them in their home country.
I think I've told you everything I can about myself now, so the best thing for me to do is to hand over to some people who know me best.
Send Sophie to Japan because she's already an experienced blogger and she has a real passion for it.
Send Sophie to Japan because as an amateur novelist she's working on a novel based in ancient Japan, and being in Japan will help her research into the finer details to make it more authentic.
Send Sophie to Japan because she's not afraid to try anything new.
Send Sophie to Japan because she's got lots of friends over there that she'd love to meet.